I have one rule when dating. Do not touch my hair. I know, dating with wigs can be really, really scary. If you're doing it, you're always like trying to put your best foot forward, and you may not know when you should bring up the fact that you wear wigs, or if you should at all. Is it gonna scare this person away? Are they not gonna care? You're worried that they are gonna care, which I feel like a lot of us are. Let's be honest, that's probably why you clicked on this video, is maybe you're expecting your first date coming up here soon, which by the way, that's super exciting. And especially like when you get to the bedroom, how is this gonna affect your time together? Do you need to tell him or her ahead of time? Let me just say right up front that I always think it's better to be upfront, open and honest with somebody, especially someone who you're considering maybe a serious relationship with. By the way that they end up acting, not only shows you more of who they are as a person and their character, but what your relationship might look like moving forward with this person. And I am like a big fan of don't waste my time. Time is precious. We've only got so many hours, so many years on planet Earth, and I just want to live it to its fullest and, you know, be the best that I can be for myself and for others. And if someone doesn't have a similar character to that, then they're not right for me. So I almost would rather prefer telling them up front versus waiting, you know, a really long time. But does that mean that I'm suggesting you should go ahead and tell them on the very first date? No, that is not what I'm saying. I can tell you that I never have on the very first date. I never have. Now, I am actually engaged right now and I'm getting married next month. Super excited. I'm also pregnant. I'm 23 weeks. And funny enough, the man that I'm marrying, Dan, we've been together for about 8 years now. We've actually been engaged for 6 years. He's been around with me since when I started wearing wigs. And I had a similar situation that maybe you guys are going through. Of course, I had the very first date with Dan. I remember I was staying with my younger sister at the time. Me and her were in Victoria, BC, Canada, on Vancouver Island, and we were hanging out at her house. And we had met these guys at a club, and she and this other guy exchanged phone numbers. So needless to say, she was going to end up going to his house in the evening to spend some time together, and that guy had a cousin. The cousin was Dan. Well, I didn't want to go. Nicole, my younger sister, actually pulled me there. Like, she was like, no, you need to come. Like, you won't be third wheel. He has a cousin. I was like, oh, but I don't want to be set up. She's like, you're not going to be set up. Like, just come, just have fun. You guys can mingle. We can mingle. So anyways, I did end up going, and I was wearing alternative hair. Okay. So let me just say that up front. And let me also just say that me and Dan ended up hitting it off. And from then going forward, we've sort of been like inseparable. He ended up becoming my best friend. But did I tell him I wear wigs right on that very first day when I showed up at his house? No, absolutely not. Did I tell him the second date? Nope. Did I tell him the third date? Nope. Did I end up bringing it up a couple of months later? Yeah, I did. Because at that point, we were going in a more serious direction, and I felt comfortable and confident. I know that people are just probably wondering, you know, the whole bedroom thing, because, okay, I'm saying waiting a couple of months before I tell him, well, does that mean that you were never intimate with this person for like many, many months? No, that's not true either. We were intimate. So going back to the whole, my suggestion, being upfront and honest is always the best policy. You can wait. But I do think it is better to maybe talk about it a little bit before you become intimate or, you know, move into the bedroom. Because yeah, I could see it being a little awkward if like your wig was to come off. But let me just say something too, like people like to tell these horrific stories of like a wig flying off across the room. That does not happen, guys. Wigs are made to stay on your head. And there are things, of course, that you can do to keep the wig on your head. Like you could use a wig grip, you could use wig tape, you could use glue, you could pin things. There's so many ways to make sure that your wig is gonna be secure going into a situation like that. And actually for most of us, we do not have horrific stories with a wig flying off our heads because it just doesn't happen like that. I can tell you that none of my wigs have ever flown off my head. Ever. What I can, oh, my puppies come to say hi. This is Zeus. I don't know if you can see him. He's a rough collie. I have had it where like I didn't properly secure my wig, or I use the wig glue, the Got To Be wig glue, and then I sweat a lot, like either outside or whatever, and my wig started to come back a little bit. But it was a quick like little like put your head to the side, like just tug it forward, look back up, and you're fine. Like nobody even notices you tugging it forward. So the fear behind your wig flying off is not a thing. It doesn't typically happen. And I would say if you are going on a date, you think you might become intimate or do bedroom stuff, just properly secure your wig to your head, especially if you haven't had a chance to bring it up to the guy or the girl that you're seeing. Now let's talk about like, okay, so what if you're in the initial stages still, you're not like bedroom stuff, but you're gonna kiss or something like that, and you know that his hand is gonna go in your hair. So that was a huge no-no for me. Like, I do not want people touching my hair at all. I know that some guys and some girls, when they're dating someone, they like to grab hair. I have always found a way in the initial stages of dating to somehow bring up, I have one rule, do not touch my hair. Or, you know, talk about it not in relation to the other person, but you could be like out and about with them and you could be like, oh, it's so windy today. I hate it when my hair gets moved around. Like I don't like it when people touch my hair. I don't like it when the wind blows my hair. It's one of my like biggest pet peeves. And they'll just like laugh along with you and be like, oh, ha, ha, but really they're internalizing it. Like, okay, maybe don't like pull her hair or touch her hair, things like that, right? So that is like a little trick that I've done at the very beginning of dating somebody. And then another thing I have done, mind you, not on the first date, maybe like a couple dates in, I have brought up alternative hair or wigs, somehow found a way to make it a fun and exciting topic. So for example, a trick that you could do, if I was wearing this wig for the very first date, and then 4 dates later or so, I'm gonna decide to put on a totally different wig. Like maybe it's a different color, or maybe it's still a blonde, but it's like a lot longer. Like how do you grow hair that fast, right? The other person is just not gonna know what you did. But most likely, if they care about you, they're going to mention your hair and they're gonna be like, wow, your hair looks really beautiful today. And you're gonna be like, thank you so much. This is one of my very favorite wigs. And then they're gonna be like, oh, it's a wig. And it's like, yeah, I don't know if you knew, but like I wear wigs all the time. I freaking love wigs. Let me tell you, it saves me so much time and energy getting ready in the morning. Like, you know how some women take hours and hours getting ready? It takes me 15 minutes and I'm out the door. It's just like something like that, right? Like you make it fun, you make it exciting. They'll smile along with you. They'll feel that energy you have. They'll feel that confidence you have, and they'll just, is my puppy. They're not gonna feel weird about it. You know, any good charactered person is not gonna feel weird about that situation, especially when you're approaching the topic yourself with confidence and you're showing that you obviously have so much joy for wigs and wearing wigs. They're gonna be so happy for you. And so that's the thing. And then if you manage to get that out there earlier on, before you hit the bedroom, before you get intimate, any of that, then you're good. Then you really don't have to say anything. Anything can happen after that. Even if your wig did freaking fly off, then it's almost laughable. Then you laugh together. That's not gonna happen though. It's so rare. That would not happen. So I took a poll on Instagram and asked for you guys to ask me questions that I could like address on this video. So one of the ones was, when is the right time to tell him? I think when you're pushing for something a little more serious, you know that this is going to be the guy or the girl for you, possibly, and you're trying to see where it's going to go. I would consider opening up to them at that point when you feel comfortable, of course, because they're going to take that as, wow, this woman or man feels really comfortable with me enough to express to me that they wear wigs. They'll know that it's not an easy topic. Maybe you want to say that it's because of hair loss. Maybe you don't want to mention it's because of hair loss at first, and maybe you just want to mention the fact that, yeah, you wear wigs and that's why your hair looks so freaking good, and thank you very much. I'm so happy today. Like, this took me no time at all. Just plopped it on my head and here I am. Do you like it? And then like do like a little turn. I try to be flirty with it. Like, I think that just works really well. Like, you just be really playful, really happy about it, and they're just like happy right along with you. I think one of my future videos here, I'm actually going to get Dan to come on here and we can talk about it with him, because I want you guys to see he treats me the exact same. If I have my wig on or off, it doesn't matter. Like, he rubs my bio hair, like my head, like under the wig. Like, I'll take the wig off whenever I get home. I do not wear my wigs at home, guys. I only plop a wig on my head to leave the house. Anytime I leave the house, I put on a wig. But as soon as I come back, that wig is off my head. Dan doesn't treat me any differently. And that is a person that you want in your life, especially when you wear wigs. So I don't think you need to be fearful at all, guys. You got this. Just understand that it is a scary thing because you're trying to portray yourself in the best way possible, but just know that you wearing wigs, that's a great version of you. That's an amazing version of you. And you shouldn't be fearful or think that you're not good enough the way you are with wigs, because you absolutely are. If anything, guys or girls, like whoever the other person is that you're dating, might find it really sexy that you wear wigs, because I can be blonde one day, then I can have long red hair the next day. I can tell you my fiance really loves it, and he's on board with me having a room full of wigs or a closet full of wigs. He's with me with my dreams. I tell him when I see new wigs at a store and it's like, oh my God, I really want to save up to get this one. Do you think this would look good on me? And he always says like, yeah, that would look amazing on you. Thank you so much, Dan. I'm going to end up getting it when I can afford it, and he'll support me in that. And that is what you want in a partner. Another question is, do guys really care if a girl wears a wig or not? Guys don't really care. From the men that I've come across, they really don't care. They don't, I mean, I'm kind of like generalizing here. It may not be true for everybody. Like maybe if you get a jerk, yeah, maybe he's going to be a jerk about it, but then you don't want him in your life anyways, right? Wigs are kind of like jerk repellent. You keep the jerks away. I have met a ton of men. Like I run into men every day when I'm walking my dog, right? And I was in the modeling industry, and there's photographers, lots of male photographers, and there's makeup artists and hairstylists. And did the men care? No. Not at all. I think the insecurities are really just coming from inside of ourselves. And if you really like internalize your thoughts, like, okay, why am I feeling so scared to date and talk about my wigs? It's likely a you thing. Like it's coming from you. The insecurities and the fear and all of that is coming from you. It's likely not because the guy or the girl that you're going to be dating is really going to react in a negative way. I don't think that's really a likely case scenario. And honestly, if that ever happened, I would just be like, thanks for your time. Let me grab my bag and my phone and I'm out of here, right? And then just like leave, because they're not meant to be in your life anyways. So I hope this video was a little bit helpful for you and at least like shed some light. Hearing from somebody who has dated lots while wearing wigs and alternative hair, and she's now engaged to a lovely man who loves her with and without wigs, and it is totally possible. And if you're somebody gearing up to go on a date, or you're somebody who is currently dating and you're feeling a little nervous or a little anxious about like how to go about things, put it down in the comment section, because this is a great moment for everybody to connect with each other and not feel so alone, and just talk about their stories and their situations. Like if you've had a really funny situation, I urge you, please share it. We can laugh with you, we can cry with you, we can be happy for you, just all of the things. Just write it down in the comment section, and if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, I would love for you to do so, because I want you back here with me so we can hang out again and talk about wigs. Thanks so much for being here. I'm Steph, and I'll see you next time.